Howdy folks, Grok the DuckFarmer here, and it's time for a little Minecraft with Botania. And I'm sitting here at my ore processing plant, and it's been working really nicely. In fact, let's go take a quick gander at the results here. As you can see, I put through a bunch of ore at tons and tons and tons and tons of coal. I don't care about coal, but there's tons of it here. A decent amount of redstone. Yeah, I don't know why lapis is busted like that. The last time I did this in the Quanta server, it did the same thing with lapis being broken. It still works. You can do stuff with it. It's just really weird. Some diamonds, some emeralds, some gold, and it's whatever is available in the overworld will appear here when you run that, and that works out very nice. I'm gonna go ahead and stick the 10 sand there. I turned it off here, but I was figuring this didn't need to keep running. I guess that just kind of prevents mana going in there, but big whoop to do. All right, so that's working out really well. In the days, too many days since I've been playing on this server, I've done a bunch of stuff. Here's something I did. I was using the mana to provide power here, and I had a coal burning processor here for providing power. I can't remember if I showed off the item repairer from Actual Editions, which is mighty nice, but in both of these cases, I've got these little Specter Coils that are going bananas, and I don't know why they show up like that. Here, let me... Oh, I didn't want to break both. If I take a look at this, this one says Specter Coil number 333, and it generates 128 RF per tick. Well, there's 20 ticks per second, so that's a decent amount of power. Now, this is the battery box from Actual Editions, and I've got a battery sitting on top of it, and it's glowing, so that tells you it's exporting out power. And if I slap this guy on the side, I guess I don't have to grind. Yeah, the number just goes bananas. I don't know why. I'm going to say that's the way it's planned. But anyway, I can take a bunch of stuff, and let's grab some cobble here and stuff there. And let's say I want to crush a bunch here and smelt a bunch there. This will go ahead and process out. Actually, that's enough. This is making enough RF that these are running full tilt, and there's enough power, which is pretty darn cool. Now, over here, I went ahead and upgraded the battery. Oh, that's not an outbound battery. Shift click. There we go. Now it should pump out. I'm not sure if that really matters on these battery boxes. I think just having it on top of there definitely matters in your inventory. Anyway, this one, when... It just bugs me. Anyway, this one, when I do some... transmuting, when I take the lens off, some of the things can be very, very expensive, and repairing can be very expensive. So that's why this battery is 3 times larger than that one. Those are really cool. These guys you can't make. They are something that you have to find, and I hunted through so many abandoned mine shafts, did a bunch of caving, and found a couple spawners, and finally I found one. I said, great, now I've got power. And as I was heading back home, doing a little bit more caving along the way, I found the second one, and I was going, yay, I have 2, so that's great. But that's not what we want to talk about today. Nope. Today we want to talk about a few flowers. In fact, let's take a quick look. What do we have here? The Benevolent Goddess Charm. Well, what does this do? That's the wrong thing. All right, charm, benevolent. Why you no work there? Benevolent. There we go. I can spell. Typing on camera is difficult. Anyway, the benefit of having this worn is that any explosions in the vicinity doesn't break blocks, which I think is a fantastic idea. So let's go ahead and snag this little bad boy. And I've got, mana to spare. So, where do you need to go? Are you Oh, you're that bobble slut. Well, you know, I'm okay with that if I don't actually need to do any visual work. You know, it's kind of quiet not seeing that ring around these flowers of how... Yeah, unless I'm actually doing some specific work, I don't think I actually need to see that. So, but that's good to have. Let's take a look here at the flowers. So generating fauna, we've pretty much made all of these things. Okay, we haven't made the Rafflesia. This one eats other flowers. So if you've made a bunch of flowers and you want to get rid of them, it will actually eat them and make mana. I'm not sure if they are planted, nearby, placed on the floor, or whether that's like thrown onto the floor, or you actually just plant them on the ground. I don't know. But I am not going to make this because, I don't have that many flowers that I want to get rid of. So that's not a big deal for me. It's not too bad. I don't think I've made a rune of pride. I wonder, what can pride be used? I'm trying to click you. Pride can be used. No. Anyway, I don't think I've made a rune of pride. But in any case, I'm not going to make that. Another one I'm not going to make is the Shulk Me Not, which it will make mana if a shulker shoots a mob. And not just it's shooting in randomly and it hits, but the shulker actually has to purposely shoot another mob, and then it's got to be within the range of the flower, and then when that happens, they both die, and all of this generates mana. I don't care. I don't have any easy way of generating that. Maybe if I got me a shulker spawner and another mob spawner and stuck them, I don't care. But what I am looking at is this, the Dandelion. This is an interesting flower. This, I would say, is the most complex flower. Not to make, because that's not all that hard to make, but did you see all that instructions? That's why it's a complicated one. Now, the thing that I have to admit that I think is correct here is the order. Air, earth, fire, water. That, to me, is always the order in which I've learned my elements. And so air, earth, fire, water, that makes sense. Now, based on, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the order is air, water, earth, fire. At least for that incarnation of Aang. But tossing that aside, because it doesn't matter, let's go ahead and make one of these. So let's go ahead, and here's where I've got all the stuff. I don't think I need the book for right now, so we'll put you away. Here's all the stuff, and it's a lot of stuff. Let's make a flower. All right, yeah. All right, so toss. Of course, I tossed it in any old order. There we go. Dandelion. And, I should have... I don't care about making a floating flower. It doesn't have to be a floating flower. As much as I love floating flowers, it doesn't have to. Now, the Dandelion is based off of Conway's Game of Life, which I guess he invented, sitting around doing whatever he was doing and said, hey, I'll invent this game of life. And there's some simple rules. Let's pretend that this checkerboard here, I need more stuff. There we go. Let's pretend this checkerboard here is the grid on which the play of life works on. And it says, for each cell, and there we got 9 cells here, for each cell that has one, okay, if this is populated, which this one is and these ones are not, if this cell has one or no neighbors, it dies. Like, loneliness. So that goes away. Now, if, in this case, these guys have one neighbor each, and so they both die, because, loneliness. In this case, they all have 2 neighbors. They would survive. 3 neighbors. they would also survive. If they have 4 neighbors, like this guy in the middle, he has 4 neighbors and the rest have 3. The guy with 4 or more neighbors dies because, you know, overcrowding or whatever. And so now these guys, what would happen the next round? They only have 2, and so they would survive. And so they would be fine there. Now, there's also the recipe of the empty cells. If they have 3 neighbors, they breed and populate it. So these empty cells, nothing would happen here because they have 2, but this one here, because it has 4 cells, 4 neighbors, nothing happens. If it was like this, then these guys have 2. Okay, so this guy here has 2 neighbors. This one has 1, so he would die. He would die, but this cell has 3 neighbors, so it would live. And the next round would go like this. Complicated? Not all that much, actually. It's raining. I love that. It's not all that super complicated. It's very simple set of rules, but there are some really sophisticated things that can be done with it as far as organizing. People have figured out all sorts of different shapes that do things. Now, just by itself, if I put this flower down, it's going to generate 0 mana for me whatsoever because it needs those little cells to be populated and do stuff. And without that, nothing's going to happen. And you can kind of see how it's shifting that pattern. That's kind of like how life does, where you get these shapes that appear and disappear. So very, very similar to that. And let's see, is it still raining? Nope, it's not raining anymore. Good. So we need these cellular blocks. And for that, I need a whole lot more cactus. And for cactus, I don't want to use that. For this, I can make cactus by mana infusion on my alchemy catalyst. So I happen to have one right here. Give me some cactus. All right. So let's go ahead and make some cells. And this recipe makes 4 or 3 each. Come here, flower. Over here is the grid that I'm going to play my game of life on. And I was thinking I'll make a floating flower, but nope, not going to do that. Anyway, right there. So you need a redstone signal because these blocks here, these cellular blocks, they won't do anything. They won't check their neighbors unless there's a redstone signal going on here. And if you place them down and then you try to break them, they break. So they're one-time places. Anyway, this flower should now be bound to the I put the Gaia spreader up here because I placed it down and that was placed first. It automatically connected, and this is pointing up to a mana pool, which, you know, nothing up my sleeves. It's completely empty. Now, this grid here is, the maximum size is 25 by 25, but I've shrunk this down. It is 2 shorter on each sides, so I guess that makes it 19? No, 21. 21, because, you know, 25 minus 4, 21. And these little marks I have in the corner, those are the starting points for what you want to do. So if I put down one batch like this, nothing happens. Well, if I were to run this, it would peter around and it would move about and do stuff, but it wouldn't work. If I have 2 or more of these corners filled in with these guys, then it does work. But Grok, how does it work? Oh, well, that's an excellent question. See that lapis thing there? Okay, here's, again, part of that instructions that I skipped right over. When these move according to the rules of life, as it runs the cycles, tick, 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 they will move and generate and spread and grow and die and do all their things. And when they come to this spot here, any of these blue lapis blocks, when the green section hits that, it will consume these cellular blocks, and anything that's there will give it a burst of mana. Actually, I think the range is 2 squares. Let me pull out my eyeballs. There we go. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while. Oh, okay, so that's the full 25 by 25 thing there. So yeah. Anyway, the when it finally grows here and it hits this area, it'll be consumed, and the number of blocks that are here and the age of those blocks will determine how much mana is produced. And so what you really want is something that's going to produce a decent amount of mana by taking a long enough time to get from the outsides around and generate and come to the center. Shall we see this in action? I want to see this in action. I haven't done this in a long time. And I look at this and I go, this is so complicated. Is it worth it? Well, let's take a look. Flip. There you go. And you can see the little patterns are running. Here, I'll make it easier to see. The little patterns are running. Nice symmetrical shapes. They're moving about and generating and going, replicating. Live, my little minions, live. And now they're getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And based on the rules, it looks like they're coming close, retreating, coming close, retreating. But eventually, they will get close enough that it will trigger. Oh, tell me you didn't work. It didn't work at all. Okay, making sure that you've got the center block, and then there's 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on each side. You put this little pattern in here, and we can try to see how this works, because this is going to be the very first time. Oh, dang it, turn that off. There. This is the very first time that we're running this, obviously, and so we're going to do this right this time. See, those guys had not enough neighbors next to them, and so they died the death. All right, so now let's go ahead and see how this works for the very first time. I can't lie with a straight face. All right, so a lot of the same patterns, but I think here when they're interacting with each other that they're starting to do different stuff. They're going to reinforce, and they should push closer to the center, and boom, it just consumed them all. And you can see there's mana coming here into here at this point. And if we take a quick look, dink, yay, isn't that an incredibly astounding amount of mana? Yeah, I don't see that either. Now, you can't, oh, dang it, stop it. All right, I can only do 2 of these, because I accidentally ate up more of these. All right, we'll let these 2 do the thing. Having 2 should be sufficient. I'm not sure if it would be sufficient if they were away from each other, like in opposite corners. Probably not, because they need to kind of feed off of each other. Anyway, it's kind of interesting. That's going where, there it goes, chomp, ate it all. And if this were to eat all the mana from all of these cells, I think it would produce a heck of a lot more. But instead, it just produces or grabs the mana from that set of 8. Which I'm looking at this and going, really, is that good of a deal? Now, you can run this again and again and again and again, which is very, very doable. And these blocks are not hard to make. They just need beets and carrots and potatoes and cactus, all of which you can automate very, very easily. And then these patterns here, you would put something that would be a block placer. So you would need something that would allow these to be placed, and then turn on the redstone signal for the chunk of time that it needs, 20 seconds, something like that. And then when that 20 seconds is over, and maybe based off of a mana pulse, then send a signal around that turns that off, which turns these guys on to place the blocks, and then lather, rinse, repeat. So it's very doable. I don't see really the need to do all this. It's far too complicated for the bang for the buck. Especially when you come over here and you look at what these slime farms are doing. Hey, Dyke Golem. This slime farm is phenomenal. The amount of mana it produces is just astounding, and the number of guys sitting down there is incredibly big. And yeah, I added some more pools here because I wanted them to do stuff. Yeah, this now some of this is going gangbusters because I have. If we go up, you can't see it here. Go up one more. Because I have that Randoms Things slime cube in there, because of that, it makes this chunk that you can see, that is a super duper uber slime chunk, and it just spawns like crazy. Whereas, or you could take a non-spawning, non-slime chunk and make it a slime chunk with that too. Or give it a redstone signal and it's no longer a slime chunk. In fact, dink, there. It doesn't need to be a slime chunk. I've got so much mana coming from them. That produces so much that it completely dwarfs what that can produce. And this is amazing with 3 stacks of all 16 colors. It fills this pool up. Well, just a couple of the slimes down there go bananas too. So yeah, you can choose whatever you want, and I'm going to choose to... Oh, I can see that bobble there on the side of my head. Okay, let's try it out. Creeper fish, creeper fish, creeper fish. You know you want to blow me up, creeper fish. Have I lit this up enough? Let's come back over this way. Creeper fish, creeper fish. There's one. Hello, creeper fish. Come over here. No, don't beat on me. I want you to blow up. There. Ha! No blowing up of the land. Come, creeper fish. Come over here. You know you want to. There you go. Come on, blow up. Yay! No damage. Oh, those creeper fish are so annoying when you start off. Oh, annoying. And that's why I've lit this thing up with so much lights in here, and it really doesn't help. Anyway, they're still fun because now they don't blow things up. Yep, no more blowing things up. And, you know, creepers I'm okay with creepers too. So, pretty cool stuff. Anyway, dorking around enough. Anyway, this has been Grok the DuckFarmer here, doing a little Minecraft with Botania, getting a few things done, even if I don't think that flower is really worth it. But it's done. And thanks for watching. Bye.